Most people argue against determinism because it has unpleasant consequences. This just shows how true it must be. Welcome to Friday Fallacy. This week we're looking at the fallacy fallacy. The fallacy fallacy is when the conclusion of an argument is claimed to be false because the argument is fallacious. That is, rather than seeing the conclusion as unproven, it is claimed to be untrue instead. This is not a sound way of arguing, as any true statement can be supported by an invalid argument. That an apologist uses a fallacious argument to prove that God exists in no way means that God does not. That someone is an atheist for completely fallacious reasons in no way means that atheism is not justifiable. Some examples of the fallacy fallacy. The arguments against gay marriage are all flawed, so gay marriage must be right. Your argument descended into ad hominem, so you can't be right. Most Christians believe for emotional reasons, therefore God can't exist. Strong atheists can't prove a God doesn't exist, so we are reasonable in inferring that he does. Not all dismissals of conclusions based on fallacious arguments are the fallacy fallacy. Most commonly, the pragmatic philosophical position of putting the burden of proof on the claimant entitles us to disbelieve any conclusion that is not established through sound argumentation. This means that if only poor reasons are presented for accepting a claim, then it is rational to dismiss it. This is different from saying that the claim is false or true, as we are simply saying that it could be either, and that on the basis of a poor argument, it is impossible to determine either way. The other situation, where fallacious arguments can be a reason to doubt a conclusion, is when we would expect to have better arguments. In the case of the Christian God, there have been thousands of years of many of the brightest minds applied to discerning logical arguments for his existence. The lack of any so far suggests that easily accessible proofs of his existence almost certainly don't exist. And if an individual believer's concept of God includes his undeniable presence provable by any who believe, then this concept of God almost certainly doesn't exist. More broadly, in any field where concerted effort by intelligent people over a substantial period of time has led only to fallacious arguments, we can reasonably conclude that sound arguments probably don't exist. That's not to say that we can claim that the conclusion is necessarily false, but simply that it is more likely to be false than true. In conclusion, the fallacy fallacy is when the conclusion of an argument is claimed to be false because the argument is fallacious. Until next time, keep your fallacies to yourself.